Violating international airspace or international waters is often done to test out the response time of those nations, as these Russian jets are often seen flying over NATO airspace.
Very disturbing, incredible images, the video of Russian warplanes buzzing a U.S. Navy destroyer, the USS Cook, in international waters in the Baltic Sea.
However, there are numerous accounts of local military responding to what they think is a viable threat to their nation and respond with a fierce show of power by means of an intercept. Here are some very close calls with foreign militaries, with some including final warnings or even warning shots to stand down, which might have otherwise resulted in a diplomatic drama. In our first close call, we have a standoff near the Strait of Hormuz, near Iran. Iran is notoriously ferocious when it comes to borders and territory, and according to international law, rightfully so, as all the other nations would be. What happens next is a maritime standoff, and we'll have the crew of the HMS Duncan on their toes. The HMS Duncan is a UK Royal Navy destroyer, whose purpose is anti-missile and anti-aircraft warfare. Even though its capabilities and imposing size, it faced a critical moment when Iranian warships closed in, challenging the boundaries of international waters.
For order to keep well clear of this area. Over. This is my last warning, and it is my last now.
The incident unfolded as the HMS Duncan patrolled near the Strait of Hormuz, a strategic waterway vital for global oil transportation. Tensions were high due to ongoing regional and geopolitical developments. Approaching the maritime border, Iranian warships issued a final warning to HMS Duncan, explicitly expressing their objection to their presence in what Iran seemed as its territorial waters. The HMS Duncan, adhering to international maritime laws, maintained its course, asserting its right to navigate freely in accordance with established norms. As the standoff intensified and Iran issued their final warning, the situation became a delicate balance between respecting territorial sovereignty and upholding the principles of free navigation in international waters.
This is British warship Cartel V7. I am about to illuminate you with a flag.
Starboard S2, illuminate, contact at green 90.
There he goes.
In the meanwhile, diplomatic channels were quickly engaged, with both nations communicating to de-escalate the situation and prevent a potential conflict. The incident highlighted the importance of diplomatic efforts in diffusing such volatile scenarios. This close call serves as a reminder of the complexities involved in maintaining maritime stability. The careful interplay between naval forces and diplomatic initiatives is crucial to avoiding unnecessary conflicts on the open seas. Next is a tense aerial confrontation between a NATO fighter jet, which is following standard procedures when unidentified aircraft get into a nation's airspace, and the very plane that is transporting the Russian President, Vladimir Putin. The incident unfolded as NATO aircraft patrolled international airspace near the Baltic Sea. Unbeknownst to them, President Putin's plane entered the same airspace, setting the stage for a tense confrontation. NATO's fighter jet, again adhering to standard operating procedures, approached Putin's plane for identification purposes. The unexpected proximity added a layer of complexity to an already sensitive situation, which quickly prompted 2 Russian Su-27s to be dispatched to intercept the NATO jet and send a clear message about protecting the airspace surrounding President Putin. As the NATO fighter jet continued its mission, Russian Su-27s closely shadowed its movements, creating a high-stakes aerial chase that underscored the delicate nature of airspace security. As the NATO jet quickly realizes it is outnumbered and is chased away to avoid confrontation, phones will start ringing in both nations, hoping to de-escalate the situation swiftly and avoid any aerial showdown that could have easily started a new world war. One thing is for sure, Putin is well guarded either in the air, on the ground, or on the sea. This next aircraft from the Canadian Air Force, called Aurora, has Major General Lane Huddleston on board. Together with a crew of reporters from Global News, it starts as just another routine reconnaissance flight as part of Operation Neon. This operation is Canada's contribution to a multinational effort to impose sanctions on North Korea to force them to abandon their WMD program. However, the Canadian Air Force will quickly realize that they are nearing Chinese territory, and a Chinese fighter jet is closing in to remind them of just that.
Oh my god. Okay, that's within like 5 meters of the wing.
Oh yeah, no, he's probably 20 feet off our wing, max, maybe 10 feet off our wing.
As the Canadian Aurora conducted its mission, a Chinese jet swiftly intercepted, raising questions about the motivations behind their presence and the potential ramifications for international relations. As the Chinese have clarified, they thought the presence of the Canadian aircraft to be a matter of national security and a threat to their sovereignty. At some point, as the Chinese jet is flying closer and closer, the news reporter anxiously asks about their safety, and the distress can be heard in her voice.
Are we okay?
Yeah, we're okay. But this is, while you're getting uncomfortable, I'm uncomfortable as well.
This is, oh my god.
Even the general is uncertain about what to make of this situation.
10 to 20 feet. They became very aggressive and to a degree that we would deem it unsafe and unprofessional.
As the Canadian Air Force is operating over international waters and seemingly not violating any territorial boundaries, the motivation for the aggressive intercept is unclear, while the crew of the Aurora is swiftly seeking direct communications with the Chinese authorities, stating their identity and the purpose of their presence. The Chinese fighter jet releases flares in front of the aircraft, something they are notorious for as part of their intercepting protocols, which they did in other recent intercepts, for reasons that are still unclear. This specific behavior is deemed reckless by the Canadian Defence Minister. Fortunately for the crew, after what was a tense moment of uncertainty, the fighter jet turned away, and the Aurora was in the clear again, ready to finish their operation. According to the Chinese Foreign Minister, Canada should respect objective facts and stop the spreading of misinformation.
依法依规处置，加方应当尊重客观事实，停止散播虚假信息。
Getting back to international waters, the HMS Defender, a British warship, is about to embark on a mission as tensions start to rise the second they embark from the port in Odessa.
Tensions have escalated between Russia and the United Kingdom on the seas off the coast of Crimea. More than 20 Russian aircraft and 2 Coast Guard ships have been shadowing a British warship, HMS Defender, sailing some 12 miles off the coastline.
The HMS Defender is the air defense warship of the UK's Royal Navy, and clearly its presence is a threat to the Russians. Leaving the port of Odessa in Ukraine, making its way to Georgia, it didn't take long for the Defender to encounter a warship from Russia that doesn't want them snooping around. This prompts the crew of the Defender to start preparing for a potential clash. The Black Sea, a hotbed of geopolitical tension, served as the backdrop for this confrontation, with the contested region of Crimea at the center of the simmering dispute between Russia and Ukraine, because of their annexation of the Crimea, which is not internationally recognized. Russian authorities believe the HMS Defender to have strayed for 20 minutes after embarking from the port, sparking the alarm within the Russian Defense Forces, prompting them to take defensive action. This resulted in several warning shots from the Russian Coast Guard, as well as bombs being dropped by Sukhoi Su-24 in the path of the HMS Defender. This is, however, contradictory to official UK reports, as they heard shots from as far as 3 miles away, which could have hardly served as warning shots. Their presence, however, was not guiltless after all. After secret documents were found at a bus stop in the city of Kent, These documents revealed the carefully thought-out passage through the Black Sea in support of Ukraine, and also showed various considerations for hypothetical aggressive reactions from the Russian Navy. In the aftermath, Russian Foreign Minister was adamant in his speech. Would British vessels ever be involved in future incidents? Russian jets will not only drop bombs on their path, but also on target. Even the Russian embassy in the UK took their thoughts to Twitter, showing the contradictory reporting between the two nations. Luckily, the crisis was averted, but this too serves as a reminder that actions like these could have disastrous consequences for global politics.